What's going on YouTube? It's Rigel here on Liberty Forge. Sorry to be here tonight. It's kind of later. I was thinking about maybe not doing a video, but all this craziness regarding the shooter, the updates, people, more than anything, people defending him and like claiming him to be like a hero or something is really it's really compelled me to make some kind of a statement. So not sure how long we're gonna be together. Probably a few minutes, just a quick hit. I just want to speak my 2 cents on sort of the craziness here. There's a video here that breaks down a little bit what the update is, and speaks a little bit to the apologists out there praising this guy. Before we do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, support the channel. And if you want to be part of the conversation, I am crowdsourcing content. If you agree, disagree, especially if you disagree, happy to have you on board, have a civil discussion. And all you gotta do is email me, forgingliberty@gmail.com. That's forgingliberty@gmail.com. We'll set something up. Let's get into the video.
Well, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson contested his extradition back to New York today. Luigi Mangione is charged with murder, and New York prosecutors have obtained a warrant for his arrest that could speed up the extradition from Pennsylvania. Fox's Connor Hansen has the latest.
Yelling towards the cameras on his way into a Pennsylvania courtroom, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione is facing extradition back to New York City. After an extensive manhunt, it was a worker at an Altoona McDonald's who recognized the murder suspect from surveillance photos and called police.
I think the one worker that actually thought it was him.
You think you keep your head low, This guy clearly wanted to get caught.
She said it between his eyes and his eyebrows. She said,
I mean, not head low as in keeping his head low, like just staying at the house or something.
When I took his order, it was like she got in her mind, oh my God, it's a guy from New York.
After getting charged for allegedly carrying a so-called ghost gun and showing police a fake ID, the suspect faces a murder charge in New York. Police say he was also carrying a handwritten manifesto describing, quote, parasitic health insurance companies.
Doesn't it seem all too perfect? Like the dude's just sitting there with all the evidence he needs to be like locked up. I mean, either it's like this was all planted and there's some massive conspiracy behind this, or the guy's just wanting to get caught, or he can't be. I mean, he's not that stupid. He's a Ivy League graduate, got his master's. He's in the academic honor society, some damn place. So I think he just wanted to get caught. It's crazy. A ghost gun, for those that don't know, is a pejorative term. I'm going to say it's a pejorative term to describe what is essentially a firearm that is not tracked by the government, which is exactly what all firearms should be, is not tracked by the government. So the concept that anyone needs to know who had the last transaction regarding a particular firearm is it's not really one that I support. And because I support, or rather because I do not support that, also doesn't mean that by virtue or extension I support it being used to kill other people innocently, right? But that's what a ghost gun is. So this guy allegedly made his ghost gun, which is again a homemade firearm that isn't serialized or tracked by the government, and he allegedly he may have made his own suppressor. So, and he's just sitting there at the McDonald's eating his damn tater tart or whatever that is, just begging to be caught. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there was even some Instagram post I saw where there was I don't think it was his Instagram post. It was just he was claiming that if you're reading this, I've already been arrested, and something to the tune of like, it's all been worked out, stay tuned. So that's delusional. I don't know, man. Crazy, freaking crazy.
We do not intend to delay this defendant's extradition to New York.
Since his arrest, some have celebrated the suspect and even made threats against police and other people in the Altoona community. That's something Governor Josh Shapiro and others are working to shut down.
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's.
The suspect did not enter a plea during that court hearing. He's now being held without bail.
Hero. Wow. So basically, because he thinks that there is some sinister scheme by healthcare companies to screw over the little guy, he's a hero. First of all, he's wrong. But secondly, the problems that are very real that he's upset about regarding healthcare insurance companies essentially not covering enough or denying claims is all a byproduct of a bigger problem. And this is where I struggle with, the intelligentsia, as Thomas Sowell would say, or the academic elites, or anyone who's, intelligent but doesn't think very clearly or logically along these lines, because it's, that which is seen, that which is unseen. It's easier to see what's in your face, and it's harder to think about, why things maybe, what's at the root of some of the problems. From economic perspective, from an economics perspective, I think it's difficult. So what is the reason health insurance is really even a thing? Why is home insurance a thing? Why is car insurance a thing? What do these things have in common? Well, they're expensive on their own, right? They're a significant percentage of most people's annual salary or wages. It would be pretty catastrophic if you had to pay for these things out of pocket, a new car, a new arm, whatever. So, okay, there's high prices, and then we have that, for medical care, which is the impetus for health insurance. So then, okay, why don't we ask the next question? Why are there high prices in medicine? More than maybe otherwise could be, or would be. I would argue would be. So let's look at all the things that hamper competition, right? Competition is what's going to bring profits down to zero, which essentially is going to bring prices down over time more than otherwise would be in proportion to how much competition is available. Competition that's available, especially for a market that's high in demand, such as medical care, or I think in just about any sub-industry of medicine, is going to be highly lucrative, and there's going to be a healthy amount of market actors that are going to want to enter the market and compete for your dollar, and you vote with your dollar, and the best people win, and profits push down to zero, and we get better prices. Look at LASIK, look at that sub-industry of medicine compared to oncology and the prices thereof and so on. So the problem that we have is the regulatory environment surrounding healthcare, all the the regulations, the licensing, on the occupational licensing as well, the FDA, that the intervention into the market regarding pharmaceuticals, all these things make it incredibly expensive. And then all the subsidies, Medicaid, that basically is just a blank check of for the hospitals and for the caregivers and so on, that often basically just get used whether or not you really need to go to the doctor because you aren't paying for it. Tragedy of the commons, that these things artificially increase demand more than otherwise would have been. And that also influences higher prices. So you get like demand shock, supply shock because of the regulatory environment and occupational licensing. So there's less laborers, the division of labor isn't as wide, and let's say as large as it would be, to where labor can be competitive in terms of what you pay for labor. And then at the same time, there's fewer market entrants because the initial costs are so high. So supply shock at the same time. So you have, you make it scarcer artificially and more expensive artificially, and then you force everyone to, try to have health insurance, and that's another blank check, and it becomes like a use or lose situation. And it's just very little is being done about increasing the supply of healthcare through non-interventionism, through letting the market work, and a lot's being tried in terms of forcing, fabricated economic sophisms, or rather economic policies based off sophisms, dogmatic so-called truths, or feel-good policies. So he's mad, righteously, at the situation that some people are in terms of them not being able to afford care, but he's mad at the wrong person, and he's certainly wrong and morally wrong on the grounds that you can just go kill people because you find them to be wrong or evil because they happen to run an agency that's trying to operate within this crazy regulated environment that is it's a nightmare to operate within. I'm not defending this Chris guy or rather this Brian Thompson guy any more than anyone else I don't know. I'm just saying that just by virtue of the fact that he's the CEO of UHC doesn't really mean anything on its own, especially if you kind of understand the economics behind, why health insurance exists, right? You'd have to have a little bit of caution and this guy maybe he did do some bad things. I mean, but I don't know that just because he's the UHC CEO, and health insurance companies aren't by default evil just because they're health insurance companies and they happen to deny claims. Not all claims that are submitted are legit. We all, would you protect yourself from fraud? Do they get it right in every case? No, probably not. But would it be a better situation if in the first place there was more health insurance companies, and maybe by virtue of less regulation in the arena? And second to that, wouldn't it be better if health insurance wasn't even as from a catastrophic perspective as necessary? If there's more competition in the market, but you're not going to get that if you tie the market's hands. So this guy's wrong on his basic premise of that it was necessary to kill somebody because he's a parasite. Well, I'd argue that there's a lot of parasites in the world that are human beings that also don't deserve. I disagree with communists. And I actually think communists have a parasitic ideology, but most of them aren't in themselves parasites. Most of them work and just have a different way of looking at things. But and I would argue that it's parasitic. That's maybe not the best extension, but I mean, I wouldn't argue that they should be killed either, right? I'm not Pinochet, giving communists free helicopter rides. It's kind of a popular term that's kind of a joke in the anarchist circles, libertarian circles. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. And this guy, 26, basically throwing his life away. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, or if he wanted to get caught. We'll see what happens. But man, just cray. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me, what questions you have, what you want me to cover, if anything else about this. I want to get more into healthcare. I want to get more into health insurance. Be happy to do it. But the scope of this particular topic was really just what's going on today, and all these apologists. I don't know, man. It's disgusting, honestly. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm here tomorrow and hopefully Friday, if not Thursday. I don't want to publish it, but I'm going to do it. Try to hold myself accountable. I want to do 3 streams or 3 videos a week and try to be consistent. Get this channel doing some consistent content and growing it through that means. And yeah, like I said, crowdsourcing content. I would love to have you on the show. forgingliberty@gmail.com. Subscribe. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is Liberty Forge.